Blackpink just celebrated 10 years together, but instead of the anniversary being remembered only as a beautiful milestone, it quickly became surrounded by controversy, disappointment, fan reactions, and questions about YG. 10 years is a huge achievement, especially for a group that has completely changed the global K-pop scene. So naturally, Blinks expected something special. But what happened behind the celebration left many fans asking, is this really how Blackpink's 10th anniversary was supposed to be? The first major controversy started with the fan event. Just days before the anniversary, the event was announced, and only 40 fans were going to be selected. The timing itself immediately caught attention because the announcement came extremely close to August 8th. Fans had been waiting for this anniversary for years, so many expected a much bigger and more carefully planned celebration. Instead, the short notice and limited event made fans feel like everything had been arranged at the last minute. The members now have their own solo careers, companies, and schedules, so coordinating all four is obviously difficult. But fans argued that Blackpink's 10th anniversary was not a surprise. Everyone knew this date was coming. That is why the word rushed started appearing everywhere. Fans began questioning the planning, the communication, and the overall presentation. Some even said that the anniversary felt less like a huge celebration and more like something that had to be completed quickly because of everyone's schedules. Then Blackpink finally appeared together, and seeing Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa in the same place was emotional for millions of fans. But instead of the controversy disappearing, it became even bigger. The anniversary live became another major talking point. Fans were happy to see all four members together, but many started discussing the atmosphere of the live. Some thought it felt awkward or rushed, while others defended the members and said fans were overanalyzing every expression and pause. And then Jisoo addressed the disappointment. She apologized to fans and talked about wanting everyone to celebrate happily together. For fans, this was important because it showed that the members were aware of the disappointment. But then came the moment that made the entire situation even more emotional. Jisoo was seen crying. Within minutes, clips of her emotional moments spread across social media, and fans started asking what had happened. Was she upset? Was she overwhelmed? Was the controversy affecting her? Theories appeared everywhere. But Jisoo later explained that fans shouldn't overthink her tears and that she was emotional because of the feelings surrounding 10 years together. So while fans can discuss what they saw, we shouldn't turn theories into facts. What we know is simple. Jisoo became emotional, fans were worried about her, and the moment made an already complicated anniversary even more emotional.
And then the discussion about YG became even bigger. For years, fans have had complicated opinions about how Blackpink is managed. But the situation is very different now. Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa all have individual careers, different schedules, and their own management arrangements. That makes group activities much harder to coordinate than they were during Blackpink's early years. Still, fans had one major question. If everyone knew that Blackpink's 10th anniversary was coming, why did the celebration appear to be organized so close to the actual date? That is where a lot of the frustration came from. Fans weren't necessarily angry that the members had busy schedules. They understood that. What they wanted was better planning and communication. And then another detail became viral. The flowers. Fans started comparing the flowers shown around the anniversary, including Rosé's flowers, with the official anniversary setup. Some fans felt that Rosé's flowers looked more beautiful or thoughtful than the official arrangements, and used the comparison to criticize the overall presentation. But this is where we have to separate fan commentary from facts. There isn't solid proof that Rosé personally bought better flowers than YG. So that shouldn't be presented as confirmed. What is confirmed is that fans noticed the difference, compared the flowers online, and turned it into another discussion about how the anniversary was being handled. And honestly, that tells you how closely fans were watching everything. The cake, the flowers, the venue, the announcement, the number of fans, and even the members' reactions were being discussed. Some fans said the whole thing felt forced, not necessarily because Blackpink themselves didn't want to celebrate, but because the organization made it feel like everything had to be squeezed into a very short schedule. Meet the fans, do the live, take the photos, celebrate, finish. And after 10 years, fans wanted something more emotional. They wanted the four members to sit together and talk about their journey, their trainee days, their debut, their first performances, their memories, the difficult moments, the funny moments, everything that made Blackpink what they are today. They wanted the anniversary to feel like a celebration of 10 years between Blackpink and Blinks. Instead, many fans felt that the celebration was too short and too controlled. But at the same time, blaming the four members for everything would be unfair. They showed up, they reunited, they spoke to fans, they celebrated their anniversary. Jisoo even apologized because she understood that some fans were disappointed. So the bigger conversation should be about planning, communication, and how Blackpink's future group activities are going to work. Because Blackpink isn't a normal group anymore. They're global superstars with four completely different solo careers. But whenever those four women stand together, millions of people still stop and watch. And that is exactly why this anniversary became such a big deal. Fans weren't just celebrating 10 years. They were celebrating everything BLACKPINK has meant to them for the last decade. And when something that emotional feels rushed, fans are obviously going to have strong reactions.
So was BLACKPINK's 10th anniversary a complete disaster? Honestly, I don't think it's that simple. The reunion itself was special. Seeing all four members together after so many individual activities was something Blinks had been waiting for. But the organization, the timing, the limited fan event, and the communication are completely fair things for fans to question. And Jisoo's emotional moment made everything even more intense. At the same time, we have to remember that we don't know everything happening behind the scenes. We can criticize what was publicly shown without claiming that we know exactly what happened privately. Maybe there were scheduling problems, maybe there were communication problems. Maybe there were difficulties between different companies. Maybe the final celebration simply wasn't what fans imagined. But one thing is undeniable. BLACKPINK's 10th anniversary still became a huge global conversation. And maybe that's the most interesting part. 10 years after their debut, BLACKPINK can still dominate social media simply by appearing together. The members have grown individually, but the demand for OT4 has never disappeared. And now the biggest question isn't really about the anniversary anymore. It's about the future. What will BLACKPINK look like during their next 10 years? Will we get more group music, more performances, more OT4 content, more anniversaries where all four members can actually spend meaningful time together? Or will their individual careers make full group activities increasingly difficult? Nobody knows yet, but the 10th anniversary made one thing very clear. Blink still want BLACKPINK together. They still care about Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa as a group. And they still expect BLACKPINK to receive the kind of celebration that matches their impact. Because this isn't just another K-pop group reaching a milestone. This is BLACKPINK. 10 years ago, four girls debuted under YG Entertainment. Today, they're global stars with individual careers, massive fan bases, and influence far beyond K-pop. And somehow, after 10 years, the moment those four stand together, the entire internet still has something to say. The anniversary may not have gone exactly how fans imagined. There was the rushed announcement, the 40 fan controversy, the YG debate, the anniversary live, the flowers, the fan backlash, and Jisoo's emotional moment. But underneath all of that is something much simpler. Fans wanted to celebrate 10 years with the four women they have supported for a decade. And despite all the drama, controversy, and disappointment, BLACKPINK still managed to create one of the most talked about anniversaries in K-pop. 10 years later, they're still here, and the world is still watching. Happy 10th anniversary, BLACKPINK, Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa. Here's to 10 years and hopefully many more.